I've got this cool new app for my phone that's just in beta mode that allows me to call into the past. So what I'm going to do is place a call 27 years ago to me so that I can remind myself of some of the things that were working in inside sales a long time ago regarding the human element of sales. So let's give it a try. Here we go.
Business by phone, this is Art.
Hi, Art. This is going to be the most interesting call you have ever received or will ever receive, and the most interesting one I have or will ever place. How's that for an interest-creating opening statement?
What? Who is this?
I know this is going to be hard to believe, but this is you, or me, 27 years in the future. I'm calling you from October 2010. We're 50 years old. I'm using some special technology to call you.
Get out of here. Is that you, Dave, joking with me?
No, it really is you. I'm giving an address, a keynote address, at an association for inside sales professionals. I'm doing some research and I'm actually going to play this call for a couple hundred people in the audience.
Okay, I'm hanging up now.
No, I'll prove it to you. You, or we, just left our big corporate cushy job with AT&T. You were a top sales rep, but didn't get promoted because you didn't play the corporate political games and were somewhat of a cocky jerk.
Yeah, well, anyone who worked with me knew that. I don't have time for this. I need to make some calls, so bye now.
Well, okay then. Let's get a little personal. You got that odd little freckle that's just to the right of...
Stop! Okay, this is weird. So if you're me, what do you want from me in the past? You should know everything I know right now.
Well, in theory, we all tend to get away from the basics and common sense sometimes. So what I'd like you to do is remind me of some of the things that we did in the early days, especially regarding the human element that worked really well.
Okay. But hey, I guess then that if you're still doing this, we were pretty successful with it. Did I become rich and famous?
You'll do okay. You'll impact a lot of people. In fact, when I Google myself, I get about 30,000 results.
What? You're 50 years old and still doing that?
I'm not talking about that. Google is a search engine that, well, I need to explain a few other things first.
All right. If I'm going to help and give you some suggestions, I need to ask you a few questions first. And by the way, that's what we teach about sales, asking questions before giving recommendations. Has that changed?
No, it hasn't. Go ahead.
Okay. Tell me what has changed the most over the years as it relates to inside sales.
Well, the sales part hasn't changed much, but the technology certainly has. First, the main technology that has pretty much revolutionized the world is called the internet. Let me just put it in simple terms here. You're going to be able to go to a computer and type in a few keystrokes and pretty much be able to access any information that you want and have it appear on your screen almost instantly.
Really?
Yeah, it's called going online. Every single book or article, newspaper, directory, really any piece of information that you want is available on your computer screen within seconds. And also, you can use it to watch videos like TV shows and movies. It really is pretty amazing.
Wow, I've got some questions about that. But tell me about something I can relate to. Does that car phone thing ever take off?
Oh yeah, but they aren't those big bulky bricks and they're not car phones anymore. They're called smartphones and people take them everywhere. They're smaller than a wallet and actually about as thin as a credit card. And actually they're computers with about the same power as an entire room full of mainframe computers like you're used to. And people use them for everything.
Oh wow, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere without seeing people talking on their Blackberries or their Apples.
They put phones in fruit?
No, those are the names of the phones.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about some of the things people do with technology.
Well, one thing that's popular right now is this thing called Twitter.
Huh?
Yeah, it's people typing out their short thoughts on anything or what they're doing at the moment.
And people actually read that stuff?
Well, some do.
Why?
That's a good question. Anyway, there's this other service called Facebook. It's where people can connect with their friends and keep them updated on what's happening.
That sounds kind of cool. Tell me about it.
Well, you go to your page on the computer and then you can read about other people and what they're doing, and then you can post updates on yourself as well.
Sounds kind of like that twit thing.
Well, kind of.
Is there any actual interaction?
Well, you can reply to posts, or people can reply to your posts, or you can go into a chat room.
You physically go somewhere and meet?
No, it's on the computer.
So you're doing this with who? Your closest friends?
Well, you can do it with a lot of people. Anyone can friend you. In fact, there are lots of people that have hundreds of friends.
How do you get hundreds of friends? And how in the world could you maintain meaningful contact with them on the computer? And why would you want to?
Good question. Oh, something else. Most written communication is now electronic. You can type out a message to someone and just hit the send key, and within seconds it'll show up on their computer or their phone. It's called email.
Wow, that's amazing. But I imagine you'd only use that for important communication with people when you have something relevant to say.
Not really. Many people will send an email for the most mundane reasons. Then what they'll do is they'll send it to a lot of people because it's so easy with just a couple of mouse clicks.
Mouse? Rodents are part of the technology?
No, it's just a term.
Okay. So you're saying people spend a lot of time doing the face twit whatever stuff and this email thing, and lots of it isn't even relevant. So how does that affect them actually talking to people?
Kind of funny. Sometimes people will send an email to a person sitting right next to them.
I don't get it. What was that?
Oh, it was a text. Just a minute. I need to reply to this real quick.
Okay, explain that to me.
Well, on phones, people can type out messages. They're called texts. People do it all the time.
On their phone?
Yeah.
Instead of just using the phone to actually talk to the person? If their message is important enough, why wouldn't they just call them?
Good point.
So they do this all the time, even when they have another live person standing in front of them?
Yeah, pretty much.
How about when they're driving?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so with all this typing on the computer and on phones, I bet that people are excellent writers and spellers there in the future. Is that right?
Not so much.
Oh, this is mind-boggling. Just wondering, with all of these things you can do in the future, is there some kind of device that gives you more time?
No.
So really then, people are busier than ever.
Definitely.
With all that technology and information, they must be more productive then.
Not really.
All right. Let me ask you more specifically about inside sales. At least then, it seems to me that with all of this technology, that inside sales becomes as popular as I think it will.
Oh yeah, you made the right choice.
And then with access to all this information so quickly, it seems that sales reps could really know a lot about the prospects and customers they call before they call them, right?
Precisely. That's pretty smart. Matter of fact, you might want to write a book about that in the future.
So does everyone do it? Are bad calls a thing of the past?
No, sadly not at all. Just because the information is there, that doesn't mean everyone uses it or uses it wisely.
So I at least imagine then that sales reps are more skilled than ever because they have access to all the books and newsletters and other training information that's available with this on the line thing.
No, you would think so. But just because the information is available doesn't mean that all sales reps use it. The best ones do, though. The ones who are motivated. And that percentage really hasn't changed, though, since I was young, or you, or I was you, or whatever. Unfortunately, people are so busy today that typically the first thing to go by the wayside is personal self-improvement.
So I guess that since managers have access to great technology, that helps them be better coaches with their reps. Tell me that, right?
Not always.
All right. This is frustrating and confusing. Well, how about connecting with customers? Doesn't technology allow you to actually talk with more customers and focus on them and meet their needs and form better relationships?
Again, not always. Customers are busy too. They're also inundated with more stuff. They're getting emails and voicemails, so they're using that as a way to hide behind technology, making it tougher to reach them. So lots of reps spend a lot of time emailing as a way to try to reach them.
That doesn't make sense. They're just adding to the clutter and making fewer calls?
In many cases, yes.
So who do prospects and customers talk to in the future?
The skilled sales reps who can articulate a solid, relevant value proposition.
Well, that hasn't changed. Let me make sure I understand here what you've said so far. So you claim that people are more connected in the future, but it seems to me that they're actually more disconnected and isolated. People spend time typing things to lots of people that they might have just casual contact with, but yet they don't see or actually talk to their closest friends very often. Sales reps have access to tons of information on prospects and customers, yet many don't use it and they don't actually talk to prospects or customers that often. Sales reps also have access to sales training information, lots of it for free, but yet many don't take advantage of it. And sales managers have access to lots of technology to measure activity, yet many sit in their offices like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain and manage without having any real contact with people.
That's all pretty accurate.
Okay, so bottom line is technology in the future hasn't necessarily made life easier or more productive in 2010, but busier and less efficient in many cases. And I might be wrong, but it seems like there's less human interaction. And for gosh sakes, you're on a live phone call to me 27 years in your past, and you get interrupted and pay attention to a texty thing from someone who's not even there? What's wrong with you?
Hey, don't make me come back there in time and kick your ass.
You're old.
I got nothing. Okay, it's becoming clearer to me where I'm going to go with all of your information here.
Good, because I need to get to talk to an actual prospect here to try to make some money in a second, but let me summarize. I'm just a kid, but one thing I'm basing our entire business on, in case you forgot, is people. People talking to people. That means sales reps talking to prospects and customers, delivering real value. That means sales managers, supervisors, and coaches investing time with their people, making them better, encouraging them. And for sales reps and managers individually, taking personal responsibility to be the best they possibly can.
You're so right.
Hey, I'm really excited about all this technology, and I can't wait to see it and use it. But if I were presenting to that group you're talking to there, I'd remind them that all of those technologies are tools. And just like any tool, you have choices. You can use them efficiently, you can use them inefficiently, or you can choose to not use them at all. And if that technology takes your focus away from what I think is the most important element, the people, it's really counterproductive.
You are wise beyond your years.
Well, still definitely a bit naive, but I have lots of street smarts and common sense. One more thing. You said that Apple is one of the main technology companies in the future?
Yeah, it seems like everybody has an iPhone, an iPod, and now an iPad.
iPad, iPhone, iPod. Seems to be a pattern there in the future. Well, here's just one closing thought for you. There's no I in other people.
Wow, thanks for that. Here's one for you. Keep up with what you're doing. You will achieve whatever you're willing to work for.
Thanks, man. I think I'll use that.
You will.